What is up, car addicts? Welcome back to the series where I build popular movie slash TV show vehicles using cars in GTA Online. Remember to let me know down below in the comments what movie slash TV show car you want to see me customize next, and I'll display the most liked vehicle suggestion comment in the next build video. Now again guys, remember that I do have a separate series for the Fast and Furious cars, so again this movie slash TV show series is for the other popular movie vehicles. So in today's video, we're going to be building the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio from the movie 6 Underground. It was a pretty cool movie starring Ryan Reynolds, but I think most of us remember that bright green Alfa, just really cool. Now we do have an Alfa Giulia inspired car in game, which is the Lampadati Komoda, and this one is available from Legendary Motorsport website for a normal price of 1.7 million and a trade price of just under 1.3 million, and yes, it's still available. It was not one of the removed cars. But anyways, let's go ahead and start the build for the 6 Underground Alfa. Alright, Alfa from 6 Underground, let's do it. Alright, so as usual for all these movie builds, I like to do, max internal performance mods and armor and all that stuff. So armor, brakes, bumpers. So starting off with the bumper options here, you have a ton of different giant splitters, but the car just had the factory splitter, which is already built into the bumper, the real one. So stock here is actually going to be the closest. Continuing to rear bumper, so the rear bumper did have like a little fin, kind of close to the exhaust area. Here we have fins, but then it also adds this extra carbon extension at the bottom, and just these fins are just way too big. The double, it's just way too far out there, way too much race car. So again, stock here is going to be the closest. Engine will max out. Exhaust, so the real one did have a dual exit setup, so the dual rounded exhaust is going to be the closest there. Hood, so the car did have a vented hood, so you have a bunch of different hood options here, but out of all of these, the closest is going to be the primary twin vented hood. These vents are a little bit bigger than the real one, but I mean, this is the closest by far, so we'll do that. Lights, do some xenons, why not? No livery, you're gonna skip this. Mirrors, so the car did have carbon mirrors, so you want to do that.
I've got that installed for you.
Mud guards, no mud guards, skip that. Plate, so I went ahead and did recreate the plate for this one. So the real plate on the car was E0 space 5Q2LA, so just went ahead and recreated that. They're using the Rockstar plate creator, so got that on there. Now respray, so obviously you can go with the typical metallic or classic lime green, that's up to you. And as a matter of fact, I threw a classic lime green on here just so you guys can see. So you can do this, and then you can even brighten it up a little bit if you want with like a silver or something. But the real car, it's a bit brighter. It's more on like a little bit on the yellow side, kind of like Porsche's acid green color, kinda. So I went ahead and got this crew color here. You can see it's a lot brighter, and I think this is definitely a lot closer, especially when you see it in direct sunlight outside. I think this is probably the closest color we're going to be able to get to it, and I will leave the hex for this color down below in the description. So went ahead and applied that there. Now pearlescence, we're just going to keep it black. The car didn't have a pearl, so we'll keep that. Secondary on this car is any secondary parts you choose. For some reason it doesn't change the interior stitching. I wish it did, or I wish they had like a trim color or something, but unfortunately they don't. So yeah, you're stuck with white stitching. The real car had red stitching inside. Would have been nice if we could have done that, but unfortunately we can't. So secondary color doesn't really matter because we're not going to be putting any secondary color options on this thing anyway, so you can just skip that. Continuing to roof, so the car did have a carbon roof fin, or roof antenna slash fin, but the whole roof wasn't carbon. So here you're forced to choose either the entire roof with the fin. You can't separate it, unfortunately. You have different roof scoops and stuff, but yeah, unfortunately, I mean, if there would have been a carbon just fin option by itself, that would have worked, but we just don't have that option here. We don't have any roof spoilers either, so the real car did have a roof spoiler. We don't have that here either, so In this case, I mean, you could go with the carbon roof, but that just the real car didn't have that. It doesn't make sense to do the entire roof in carbon just because of the fin. I think you're gonna be closer off with the closer to the real one by doing the stock roof. Skirts. So the car did have a bit of like a trim on the bottom of the stock skirt. Here it's just actual skirts. There's no trim like that. So here you also want to keep it stock. Spoiler. So the car did have a nice carbon ducktail spoiler. So you have a few different options here. I've looked through all of these, and the closest you're either going to want to go with the carbon short lip spoiler, or you can go with the carbon small lip spoiler. Now personally, I prefer the carbon small lip spoiler, and the reasoning is because as the spoiler curves towards the edges, it kind of comes to a point, and the real one does the same thing, whereas the short lip is more squared off on the edge. So I think the carbon small lip spoiler is going to be the best bet there. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Suspension. So stock ride time on this car is definitely way too high. Personally, I think either lowered or street is going to be the best option here. Seeing the spacing on the rear tire, I think lowered is probably going to be our best bet. So I'm going to go with the lowered option. Transmission, turbo, wheels. So unfortunately, you can't really get all that close to the wheels from the real car. I've looked at every single wheel, and I'll show you guys here some options you can go with. So we go to high end here. You can go with the Super G's. You can go with, let's see here. You can go with the Mercies. You can also go with the synthetic Z's. And in street and track, there's nothing even remotely close. Some of them have just too much concave. I've seen some people use, where are they? I've seen some people use the Segoy concaves, these, but there's just way too much of concave there. The real one's more flat. So personally, out of all the wheels, looking at the key characteristics of the spokes and everything, and what we have available in game, if we go to sport and then we go to the Mercies, I think these are the closest out of all the wheels, because you can see the spokes kind of like have more of a design to them. The spoke itself it's not as simple as this one, for example. You can see this one has a bit more design to it, which I think goes a little better with the actual Alfa wheel, so we'll do that. And a lot of people think the color of the wheels from the movie is black. It's not. I've seen a lot of builds, and most people put black. That's false. It's actually a dark gray. So you can go with black steel or stone silver. That's up to you. Personally, I think the black steel is a bit better. Especially in direct sunlight, it does look a lot brighter, so we're gonna go with that, black steel. Windows. So I definitely don't think it's limo, so I think either light smoke or dark smoke should be the one you should go with. I'm gonna go with light smoke, so we'll do that, and that's all the options there. All right, let's exit to ground. Let's take it for a drive. This color really pops in the sunlight. Can't wait for you guys to see it out here. Look at this. Boom! Look at how bright that is. I mean, I think it's really close. Like, all things considering, that's not bad at all. Definitely a lot brighter than the normal lime green. Oh yeah. First person here. Looks fantastic. That rear seat texture quality is absolutely atrocious though. But alright, floor it. Yeah, this thing has an incredible exhaust note. It has the exhaust note pasted over from the XA21, also shared with the jugular. So it sounds fantastic. The real car is a V6, I believe, so it doesn't quite sound as good as this, but yeah, no, this car is a ton of fun to drive. Fantastic handling for being a sedan. This is just a really, really good car. And honestly, I think when you see the bright lime, I mean, who paints or wraps an Alfa in lime green? Rarely anybody. When you see this car in lime green, somebody driving around in it, it's pretty obvious what they were trying to replicate. You know, it's a reference to the 600 round Alfa, hopefully without crashing like I did. They drifted a little bit here. Power slide. And the engine just died. The traction control in this game sometimes is just a bit annoying. Imagine if you could turn that off. That'd be incredible. God, this Cherokee just turned right. Oh, he wanted to make a right there, bruh. Okay. Well, this thing, absolutely love it. Great exhaust note, and I'm so glad that we actually have, you know, the Alfa Giulia inspired car in the game, and we don't have to use an alternative. There was no way I was gonna make this build with an alternative. So, since we had the car, I figured, you know what, might as well, you know, make the build since we have the car model in game. You know, the inspired one that is. I'm driving really bad today. I don't know. Alright, let's see here. Vehicle doors. Let's go all. As usual, love to see the engine models and stuff. This is just, you know, copy and pasted from OG, like, sedans, like benefactors and stuff like that. Interior is from the... It's like from the Nero, actually. And Nero was the first car to have this interior in games, but they did a 4-door version of it. That's kind of cool. Okay. The random tunnel going all the way back there. Kind of plain. The back seats are just terrible, but, you know, Rockstar stuff. Truck texture quality is decent. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad car. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it came out with the original Casino update. I believe that was back in, like, what, 2019, I think? You see here? Yeah, 2019. It's December of 2019. So, I mean, yeah, it's a cool car, all things considering. A bit pricey, but so is everything in GTA Online these days. And at least this car has a great exhaust note. It drives really nice. Has good customization. And, you know, you can make a movie car build out of it, too. So, love it. But anyways, guys, definitely let me know down below in the comments what movie/TV show car you want to see me do next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.